What are your thoughts, Gary, down in the warmer climate there?
Well, I have thoughts and I have experiences. I come from um, governmental agency, um, and it included multiple cities and a county. And this procurement is, it's often shrouded in a veil of complexity. So we have procurement policies. You go through the processes. It's time consuming. Everything's got to go out for bid. Then you get the information back. You have to have a draft contract within this procurement. You get into big capital improvement projects. They're very complex. I mean, the preparation just to get the project out and have the documents, the bid documents that Alan was talking about, specifications, all of those things. There are so many people involved, which is where I believe there's this lack of consciousness about ambiguity. Oh, the attorney's going to take care of that. I'm only looking at the specifications, or I'm only looking at how the bid's going to go out and what the responses are going to have within their bid packets. Or, oh, I'm the executive director. I just want to get the job done. How long will it take? You've got a host of things that have to take place. There's a multitude of people. So in my experience, where we have ambiguity is that an engineering firm subcontracts out architectural and all different types of geotech and things like that. So you get reports from each one of those. They're all subcontracted in. Everything's kind of gets compiled under some project manager who doesn't have the time, because these government employees, the municipal staff, they're often overwhelmed, trending in the water 3 feet under the water.
Yes.
They can't get ahead of things. They are shortcutting their workload, and the shortcut comes with, I cannot read 1,300 pages and read it that thoroughly. So we'll partition it out to each little individual, and we have all these groups looking at particular sections. One example, and I'll open it up. We put out an RFP at one time. My consultant, professional, I would never say that they made, a gross error, because they're that efficient and that good. Experience over a decade with them. However, in this particular bid package, there was a clear understanding that this particular project was not tax exempt. And way back on the 936th page, it said it was tax exempt. Now, the contractor picked that up, and when he got all his subcontractors to bid the project, they bid it as tax exempt. This was over $500,000 liability on us, the governmental agency, to the contract, because all of their bids did not include tax.
Wow.
Now you say to yourself, how is it that this happened? Well, number one, a lot of these engineering firms and even municipalities will use template documents that they used for a similar project earlier on. And what they do is they take it, they modify it, they put their little pieces in, and they send it off. Well, in this case, my consultant identified that they used a federal template for a different project that was exempt. They knew this wasn't, and they only corrected that exemption in the first section of the document, but forgot about the last section. So needless to say, ambiguity, one or the other. Well, they bid it with no taxes, so we have a problem. Now, you think to yourself, how could this happen? Very simply. These are very complex, large documents, a lot of people involved. There is no way you'll ever get through. And Alan, when you get into the construction of it, you find all kinds of problems in the plans, architectural, and you make those adjustments online. Unforeseen circumstances, they pop up. That's one thing. But when you have a document that's binding legally, and you've made that big of a grave error, that's not blaming anybody. But what Stratagen can do is it finds those things.
Yes.
Those things that there's a conflict. It's not a human that is under tremendous pressure, that cannot meet the deadlines, cannot meet the workload, doesn't have the tools. This is the tool. Now just run it through, especially if you're the project manager and everybody's funneled it in. You're the last one to sign the document. Man, you want to make sure that there's no ambiguous language.
Yes.
There's conflict with their, and this could have been easily solved, but it cost the agency $500,000 in taxes to the contractors that they had to pay.
Wow.
So how much time did it take to get that document out? And still you had that liability and risk, which nobody saw. And if you have the right tool and you can run that through and it picks it up, you've just saved yourself $500,000. Hopefully you don't have those problems, but this will show you exactly where these problems lie. In that risk chart, it'll point right to the area that you need to look at. It's visual. You don't have to read the whole report. You can see, I need to focus on these areas that are high risk. What does it mean? And you can focus into the documents right into that area. You don't have to spend the whole lifetime and have multiple people pointing fingers. Who missed that? Why did this happen? So anyway, that's just one of many, many, many examples. But these staff are overwhelmed. They're under deadlines. Most of their stuff is, not up to date with technology. They're working with archaic information technology and working technology. So, whatever we can do to assist, and that's what this really does for anybody, is you've got an executive assistant.
Yeah.
It's 24/7. There's no hardware, there's no software, there's no nothing. You sign up, you put your document in, bam, you get a report. I mean, so these are not just time saving and staff stress reducing, because now you have staff being able to look at something and be able to articulate back to their bosses individually. So I might be a planner. I did my planning section. Heck, I'm going to run it through Strategen before I give it to my boss, because I don't want to have the boss find all my errors. So I'm going to have my little assistant do it. Boom. And so now when the whole picture comes together and every department has ran their little sections through their Strategen analysis, then you do the final and make sure there's no inconsistencies, and voila. So it saves time. It saves on stress. Think about how much more a business could do with their staff if they weren't spending so much time. And I know I'm on my pulpit, but I get pretty excited about this stuff.
I was just going to say, Gary, could you just elaborate a little bit more?
I just can't. If I would have had this tool, I would have been so much more effective, efficient, and I wouldn't lose the big clientele, the big manufacturers that needed to get into our airport. We lost them because we couldn't keep up with the schedules. This tool could have saved us. We could have had a big manufacturer in aerospace, many jobs, all those things. And at the same time, it would be a good contract for the aerospace company and for the governmental agency.
This is Mike, and he is gearing up for another challenging day at his job. He's not just dealing with the usual workday hurdles, he's grappling with the crazy world of contract agreements. If you deal with contracts, I am sure you know this all too well, where complex legal terms, hidden clauses, and high-stake decisions loom like an opponent that resembles a 1,200-pound angry bull that is about to knock you into next week. But here's the twist in Mike's tale. He's not in this fight alone. He's armed with a secret weapon, a solution that empowers him to confidently confront these challenges. This secret weapon helps him anticipate potential problems, understand the complexities of his opponents, and make informed decisions. So, in the high-stakes world of contract agreements, think of Mike and his secret weapon. It's a powerful reminder that with the right approach and tools, even the most complex and daunting challenges can be effectively tackled. Be like Mike. Get Strategen Analytics, your superhero that levels the playing field.
Strategen, leveling the playing field.